there's still nothing that can replace years of hard work, years of lifting, years of living the right lifestyle, and it shows in your physique. And I think that that's why so many people are kind of drawn to it, because it's not the easiest thing to shortcut.
Hello and welcome to Fierce and Flawless, the Female Project. I am Dr. Antonella Kaler, and I am on a mission to find out exactly what it takes to build an indestructible foundation and achieve our best reality. I am thrilled to bring you stories of inspiring women who were fierce and relentless when pursuing their passions, who did not blame their struggles on so-called character flaws, and who took control to lead extraordinary lives. If you're a woman who is tired of feeling like your life is merely a product of cause and effect, and you are ready to be the woman that causes the effect, keep listening to learn the necessary insights to navigate life's toughest challenges, break through the most disheartening plateaus, and unleash your inner alpha woman. And don't forget, you have the exclusive opportunity to win our Alpha Empowerment Book Bundle. It's 3 life-changing books whose authors you heard speak on the show, and a 12-week wellness program by me. So please visit www.thefemaleproject.net/podcast to find out exactly what you need to do to participate. So good luck, and thank you for listening. All right, perfect. And wow, do you ever have an amazing picture? Can we have that picture?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I can send that one.
Okay, great. So before we kind of start getting into our actual interview, I'm going to give our listeners a little bit of a background of my experience of what happened with my attempt at trying to do gymnastics. So at the start of the year, I was following a whole bunch of you beautiful, wonderful, inspirational women that are in the fitness category. And you see, this is the problem. The problem with watching other people that are very, very good at what they do and they make it look easy is you watch it enough times and then you start to get this thought of, you know what, I could do that. With enough practice, it doesn't look that bad. Especially with your stuff, you know, it's just so slow and controlled and graceful. Like, especially a lot of your like IG videos, it just looks like you kind of fall into the movement, right? So I watched enough of it and I'm like, yeah, I got this. I'm like, I have sort of gymnastics background, I can handle this. So I started doing little stands here and there, and I reached out to you, and amazingly enough, you replied. I was so excited, and I was ready to rock and roll, and I was practicing diligently every single day, to the fear of my husband and my daughter. Trying not to knock over furniture, and then I decided to go into the basement, because every time I would try the handstands here, of course, anytime I would fall, the cabinets and all the dishes would start rattling, and, you know, the usual kind of stuff. I felt like I was basically breaking down our house. And so I went into the basement right next to my little pull-up station there, and I walked into a beautiful handstand that ended in me falling sideways, hitting my toe on the pull-up station, and fracturing my toe.
Dang it.
Yeah, she really had one of those disclaimers of don't try this at home, but it, you know, well, most people, I'm sure they would be fine. So that is my wonderful experience.
Well, I have to say, at least you were doing something cool, right? At least you were doing a handstand.
Yeah, and you know, and it looks, and of course, like, you know, you look at all of the ladies doing like all the figure competition, just the bodybuilding, the bikini, whatever, and I understand that there, you know, of course, there's so much work that goes into building up the strength and cutting back down. But when you look at the fitness category, it is just so cool. You know, the choreography, it is. But we're going to get into how you actually settled down on that one versus just trying to do a figure competition in any of the other ones. So enough about me. We're here to talk about you. So if you could give us a little bit of a background of your origin story of how you got started on this amazing journey and where you started. And I know you were, did some long distance running before.
I did, yeah. But before that, I was a gymnast growing up, and I coached gymnastics in college. That was how I kind of put myself through college. And I had somebody come to the gym I was coaching at, and it must have been maybe maybe 2000, maybe 1999. That's how long ago. And asked for private lessons to learn a back handspring. And she was an older lady wanting to learn a back handspring. So I kind of was interested in what she was doing, and she was learning it so that she could put it in her fitness routine. And that was the first time I got exposed to the fitness category part of bodybuilding. And I thought it was really cool. And what I thought was neat about it is she thought all of the muscles that we had as gymnasts was really cool. That's what she was trying to go for. And I had never really liked having a lot of muscle. I put on muscle really, really easily. And when I was, younger, nobody else had, big old thighs, and it was hard to find pants. And,
it's not quite the same as it is now. Right now we're in a good time. Muscle is in.
Yeah, but it, growing up, you didn't want to be different. So I got into it kind of following her and how she was doing with it. And then that was back before, the internet had everything on it. And so I could go buy magazines and kind of follow it that way. Then I got married and I had babies, and I got really heavy in college. And then and my first couple years of being married, I got really, really heavy. So I never really thought I would compete, but I always followed it. And I knew a lot of people just through the gymnastics community that were competing or trying, where they were kind of embracing more, to me, like a gymnast look, the more muscular girl.
Sure, absolutely.
So I never really thought I would compete, because it's not really I don't really like getting in front of people. And then the idea too of showing everybody your muscles that I kind of was self-conscious of. I didn't really,
kidding me? I followed you at the Arnolds. You were a superstar. You really overcame that not getting in front of people thing.
Yeah. Well, now when I do it, I look at it like, if I can do this, I can do anything. And I've gotten better where I don't dread it as much. But it's still for me a really big, challenge. That's one of the bigger challenges. I don't mind dieting. I don't mind weeks and weeks and weeks it takes to get ready for the shows. But the hardest part for me still is getting out there and doing it. And so sometimes the week before a show, I think, why do I do this? Why did I pick something this hard for me? Now I know enough to know that when I'm done, I'm going to say, I'm so proud of myself for doing it. So.
Yeah. So what was the turning point when you decided, you know what, this is for me. This is what I'm going to do.
I finally lost the weight. I did I did a bunch of marathons. I also, kind of dialed in how to eat for my body. But I kept trying to lose muscle. And I wasn't even very successful at it, even doing a really, really low protein diet and tons of cardio. I still seem to kind of hold on to muscle. My body just does not like to strip muscle off it, and I had a friend that, competed in figure, and she kind of kept saying, why are you trying to fight your genetics? Why don't you do something where people actually celebrate it? Why don't you, you might find some body acceptance, because it's after losing weight and, gaining weight and then losing weight, I still, I kind of felt like I was too old to be so fixated on what my weight was. And I'm also a mom. I have 2 daughters, and here I am as an adult with these kids looking up to me. And, I can tell them, you need to love your body, but, or you've got to celebrate who you are. And then I'm, on the other hand,
of course. It's really difficult. And I have my daughter is still young. She's almost 2 years old, but you kind of come across the same thing. It's you start viewing yourself through their eyes and like, okay, well, I gotta do what I preach, right? So if I'm telling them that, hey, it's about self-love and acceptance, and you have to be proud of who you are. It's a rough spot. It's a lot easier to tell other people to be positive about themselves and embrace themselves, but then you're your own harshest critic, right? And then that advice works for everybody else, but not for me. It's a very, very difficult thing to kind of break through.
Well, that's what actually bodybuilding helped me with, because, this friend of mine she's throughout the years, she's been a good friend to kind of call me out on things. And that was something she kind of called me out on, was that idea of like, don't fight your genetics. This is actually, there's a whole hobby out there that people are trying to gain what you kind of just naturally, and you are trying to lose it. And it's not the healthiest thing for you. I said, well, I'd rather do fitness. If I was going to compete, I'd rather do fitness, but I don't really know if I even want to do any of that stuff. So she talked me into trying a figure competition, just because that's the portion of the competition that I felt less confident in. With a gymnastics background and a dance background, and also following the sport for so long and being a big fan of fitness, the portion for me that was really, really scary was the physique round. So I took 20 weeks and I prepped and I tried a figure competition. It was a really smaller show. It was I put a lot of work into it. I was really, really nervous about it. And then when I got done and my friends and family were there, they were like, hey, that was awesome, but you spent all that time and energy and you just stood on the stage, you know?
Yeah.
No, the next one. Just wait for the next one, because I'm going to do fitness. I think because figure was so different from the idea, and being so self-conscious, the idea that I went out there and asked people to judge my physique was really weird for the people that know me best. After that show, it probably took me another year and a half to put together a fitness routine, and then and compete in fitness.
Yes, and where was your first fitness competition?
I did a show here in Arizona. It was in Mesa. It was the July of 2014.
How did that experience feel for you?
It was really fun. We had a ton of fun. One of my friends that was also a fitness competitor was doing the spray tan backstage. It was a ton of fun. Since I was there, I jumped in and did figure, and I ended up placing pretty decent in my figure. I think I won one of the novice classes and placed somewhere in the top 5 for figure, which really surprised me. And that was enough of a boost of confidence. I won the fitness class. There was only one other competitor. And so I left kind of feeling like I put all that, I prepped a long time for that show, and I was kind of bummed that there wasn't more girls in the fitness category. And how are you finding it now? Do you find that there's a shift? Do you find that more girls are going into the fitness one and the figure one, or are a lot of them going for kind of the bikini category? There's a lot more in bikini for sure. And we're trying to get more fitness girls.
Okay, so nobody listened to my story with a broken toe. It's totally doable. Everybody can do it. Ignore that. Everybody should try it.
Toe running on the treadmill. So, there's plenty of ways to break your toe.
My worst injury ever was running. I tore my hamstring. It was an injury that debilitated me for months, and that was when I was training for a marathon. So it's all sports come with a degree of risk. Yeah. Yeah, it would be. I would love to see more fitness girls, and knowing now that at the amateur level you don't have to do the physique round, it's a really good time to try it, and there's no requirements. I didn't think I could go pro. I didn't plan on it. That wasn't my goal when I went to do a national show. I just wanted to go and compete where there'd be other fitness girls. Would you say that was one of your biggest accomplishments, or what would you label as your biggest accomplishment that you're most proud of?
I was pretty proud of getting to compete on the Olympia stage. That was because, in bodybuilding, that's kind of the top. And then from there, I placed in the top 10, and that really blew my mind. I from not even thinking I'd ever be able to make it, I never set that as a goal. I wanted to get a first call out in the physique round, and I wanted to get an Arnold invite. Those were 2 goals I set that I was hoping would be attainable.
What would you give as kind of your top piece of advice to anybody that's thinking about starting out, or maybe fence sitting, maybe they don't think they have what it takes, they're trying to make a decision, or anybody pursuing any type of goal? And that's a big problem, right? We think that we're afraid to set big goals because we just, we think we're setting ourselves up to fail because it seems untouchable.
Yeah. You know what? I think you should set big goals, but you have to set long term and you have to set short term, because that's how you build the confidence towards setting bigger goals. Because even getting that Arnold invite, I didn't know if I didn't think I could ever, because I mean, you can qualify to Olympia, but you can't guarantee yourself an Arnold invite. So I thought that was a really, really big goal. But what I did is I said, okay, what do I need to do to get that goal? What's something I can do this month? What's something that I can do in 6 months? Those kind of goals, shorter term goals that
snowball to a big success.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes say, okay, this is my goal. What can I do? What can I do today? What can I do this week? What can I do this month, 6 months, a year? Maybe it's a 5-year goal.
That's a big problem. That's a big problem with people's, fitness goals. A lot of goals in general these days. And, you have people coming in saying, okay, well, in 30 days, I want to accomplish this 6-minute abs and
right.
detox diet, 10 pounds in 10 days. Like, people you start talking about reasonable long-term goals and enjoying the process. And not a whole lot of people want to hear that.
I think we live in a world where Amazon Prime something delivered to us that same day. And I think that's almost what has brought on such a big, like with social media, showing so many people the world of bodybuilding. I think that's where you almost get, there's still nothing that can replace years of hard work, years of lifting, years of living the right lifestyle, and it shows in your physique. And I think that's why so many people are kind of drawn to it, because it's not the easiest thing to shortcut,
Yeah, it's like, I really like the before and after picture that you put up, and you always say on the bottom, like, this is, your body's been through a lot, but there's years between these two pictures. This isn't a 90-day bikini challenge that I did before the start of the summer. This is years of hard work and effort, and these pictures are just the tip of the iceberg. People, it's very hard to actually feel the amount of hard work and dedication that it takes to get from picture A to picture B.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of those the changes that aren't sustainable for your life. I think that the more you focus on changes you can make that are going to stick, that's what helped me. That's when I finally saw my weight loss happen. That's when I saw my physique changes, is when I stopped doing the bad diet of the minute, or, instead of making changes to lose 20 pounds, it was, what's my body need? What's healthier for my body? So
where so many people go wrong, they almost go through like a phase of punishment that they can't sustain because it's such a harsh plan. And when it sounds counterintuitive, it's like you almost need to loosen the reins just a little bit to be able to do this for life, for the rest of your life. You can't hate yourself for the rest of your life. Right.
Well, and sometimes the things that take longer to show up are the more permanent changes, and they take you to a path of that something you can sustain. When I decided to do fitness, I had to go back to the basics, and I know I had gymnastics training and when I was younger, but I feel like I was starting over. I didn't know where I was when I was upside down. I had a complete different body. I'd gone through so many different, I felt like a different person. And so, and to be honest, I don't know how strong my handstands were when I was a gymnast, but when I started working on it, that was something I wanted to work on. But I didn't kick up and hit a handstand the first time. In fact, I can remember kind of being scared to go, kind of scared to kick up and go upside down. But a lot of times when people reach out and ask for handstand help, they're like, well, I tried that. But did you try it over and over and over again? Because if you could get it the third try, then not the right challenge for you. You know, usually the things that you have to put that kind of effort in are the things that have the best reward.
You know, it's might not be the 100th time, maybe 200th time, but 300th time that you get it, right? You know, how many years does it say on average? It takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. Is that the?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm on the upper end too. It takes me a lot longer. I'm not a quick learner. I don't pick things up super quick, but I don't mind that. I mean, sometimes I mind it, but I like the hard work. I prefer the weeks of training leading up to something versus like the show day. Cause that's usually where you get that's where I've been able to build confidence, is doing things that when I started off, I couldn't do it. And then the next day it was a little bit better, but then the next day it was worse. But then the next day, because I came back and I did it. So whenever you're feeling like down about something, you think, well, I started here and I brought myself here, you know?
Yeah, that's so wonderful to hear somebody have a nice realistic approach to it with the truth of the hard work that it actually takes to get there. Thank you so much. And so anything that you want to let our listeners know about that you would want them to look into or contribute?
I'm a big fan of spreading the word about the fitness division, because to me, it's more than just bodybuilding. We're a really tight-knit community. We go and compete against each other, but we don't really. We're competing against ourselves, and it's a sisterhood. And if more people knew that there's something that you're good at that you can do, and then you build on that and you can make a routine out of it. I want to spread the word about fitness. I think more people should do it. I can see these girls that do figure that have handstands, that have back tucks, have a cheer background, have a competitive background.
Now, is there a limit? Do you have to have a cheerleading or gymnastics background?
No.
Or
No.
if you're a 30s mom with a 2-year-old,
yes,
is there hope for you?
There is so much hope for you. There's so much hope. And I've seen your handstands. I've seen your stuff. But really, all you have to have is a desire. You just have to have the confidence to start. And what's really cool is the judges, they're actually going to be putting out a video about how you don't have to have a gymnastics background. You don't have, in fact, what they're rewarding is they really like to see something different. They've seen the same stuff. That it's, there's a lot of the stuff, we're all trying to find new things to do. So
yeah, some of the routines, like your routine was amazing. I'm also a big fan of Ariel's Predator routine. Yes. Because I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, so I really enjoyed that one. It's one of those things looking like, wow, that just looks like so much fun.
It is so much fun, and that's what I want to spread, is the word about fitness. At least go check it out. And there's tons of videos, routines on YouTube you can pull up. There's Instagram. There are so many cool things. All you have to have is a desire to learn and the confidence to get out there and try it.
I'm going to be looking at the fitness thing again. I know I failed my first time around, but it's all about persistence, right?
No, you didn't fail. You just put it off. You're gonna
exactly. It's like, when they say that FAIL stands for first attempt in learning, right?
There you go.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for everything that you are, what you do. You're a wonderful person. Anybody who's not following you absolutely has to. Now, before I forget, I always, as our final question, ask our guests if there's a book that you enjoy that you feel like everybody should read that you would suggest to our listeners. Yeah, threw that curveball at the end on you.
I know. It's funny. I read this really good novel called Zoo. It was a really interesting, kind of apocalyptic, called The Zoo.
The Zoo. Okay, I'm going to look at Patterson novels. Zoo, a science fiction thriller novel by James Bond.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sally. Really appreciate it. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Hey Alphas, it's Dr. Antonella from Fierce and Flawless, the Female Project. I cannot wait to bring you more incredible stories and exceptional insights from women who made an impact. So join me on this journey. Subscribe and comment with nominations for guests you would like featured next. I want to deliver content that ignites a spark in you, so your feedback is extremely important to me. To connect with me and to get the resources mentioned in this episode, visit www.thefemaleproject.net or add me on Instagram at dr.antonella. Thank you for listening and stay tuned.